So he pulls into the administrative building, or in front of the administrative building there, throws the car into park, gets out, leaves his door open, goes in, leaves me sitting there, doesn't say anything to me. Now, again, in retrospect, and I don't really talk about this often. Well, I don't really talk about it at all. I don't know if I really have expressed a lot of this ever to anybody like this. But that must have been, see, my dad was a really proud guy. And that must have been from between the time when I got there and when that happened, pulling up there, was when Rosa actually left him and said that to him about him not being as good looking as he was. So you got to understand, by the time I got there in October, this was several months later, he had been in physical therapy. He'd spent a couple weeks in the hospital. His doctors are the same doctors who Richard Pryor had. And Richard Pryor was burned right at the same time. My dad actually met Richard Pryor at that time. They're Doctors Richard and Jack Grossman in Sherman Oaks Burn Center. Wonderful, incredible people. Thank you for what you did for my dad. They actually restored his looks. He did, and they would have continued on. My dad was the one that stopped the reconstructive surgeries because it was so painful for him. Oh my God, I can remember one time they had taken some skin from his groin area, and he comes in, and in the middle of the night, he had spent some time in the hospital. The skin they took was for a graft, skin graft. He comes in crying, wakes me up in the middle of the night. He had a pair of dikes, cutters, side cutters, and a pair of lineman pliers. And they had put these stainless steel staples in on his groin area to hold it together, and it had gotten infected. I had bad, and he had me cut those things out of him. Anyway, wow. And the man went through hell with that. So anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't want to... So we get to Reynolds. I don't know I sit there for a minute or maybe 10 minutes, who knows. I get the guard, I pull the car over, I park the car. And I go in and I said, "Where's my dad?" And they didn't know who I was. He didn't claim me on his income taxes. He probably never mentioned me for all I know. I don't believe he ever carried a picture of me in his wallet now that I think of it. But anyway, so it's my buddy Rhodes, whatever. So somebody comes out and talks to me, and they said they're going to take my dad to some loony bin place. With Roger Beaton, the guy whose house we had moved into, he was getting ready to lose his house. Is what the deal was, and my dad paid up his mortgage and everything, and helped him out, and Roger let us live there, and that was great. I think we lived there. God, we must have lived there for 2 years, year and a half. It was great. Roger is a great guy. Roger, if you're still alive and you see this, please contact me, man. Here's another huge mistake I made. Roger was a great tool and die maker, and he brought me. He offered to teach me the trade. That was right when CNC equipment was coming online, and man, I blew it. I mean, that's just another thing where if I had played my cards right, Roger could have taught me how to be a true tool and die maker. Hell, my grandparents would have backed me starting a business, bought me a lathe and a mill and surface grinder, yada yada yada, whatever I needed. And I know they would have. If I would have had that kind of thing, especially if whatever I'm saying. God, and here I am making a video because I'm depressed and filing bankruptcy. Who would have thunk it? Anyway, so my dad goes in the loony bin. Roger comes and picks me up at Reynolds, and we go back, and probably a couple days later, I can remember, Roger's a big man. Roger was about 6'3" or 6'4", maybe even 6'5", and he was probably 250, 260-ish, big boy. And we go down there, and they wouldn't let me see my dad. And Roger gets pissed. He busted their doors. They had like these like French doors, and he goes, my brother's through there. His son wants to see him. Bam! He hits the doors, and the doors fly open. And he says, "You show me where my brother is." And everybody, brother, in those circles. And those of you that understand. Those of you that don't, I'm not going to try and explain it right here. So anyway, I get to see my dad, and he was not real pleasantly receptive, and didn't want me there. Maybe this will help you understand the relationship a little bit. I didn't call him dad then. I didn't call him anything. I didn't know what to call him. I knew I worshipped him. I knew I thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. I still think some of the stuff he did is cool, and you can tell by the way I will say certain things that, he was a crazy son of a bitch. I mean, and he got away with everything he did. He stole a cop car. The man stole a cop car and got away with it. Him and another one of the brothers, they wanted the damn shotgun, and it was locked, so they took the whole car. Anyway. So eventually he gets out of there. I think he may have been in that place about 2 weeks, and now I'm in California less than a month, but Roger really took me under his wing, and Roger's the guy who taught me how to drive. He drive a manual transmission vehicle. He had this van, this piece of crap, like whatever, Dodge van or something that had a 3 on the tree, and that's how I learned how to drive a manual, was that 3 on the tree van. Damn, man, I'm really talking, aren't I? And I'm not getting anywhere. I hope this isn't boring. I guess I'll do this, and I'm going to upload these, and people say, man, we don't want to hear all this bullshit. Get to the good stuff. Then, but you know what? Actually, what am I saying? I'm doing this for me. And if you enjoy watching it, that's great. And if you don't, that's cool too, because it really is therapeutic talking about this and going back and looking at it and listening, and then the other memories it jogs.